Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Puck and Stuff episode 12 with my boy T-Dog. And this episode is sponsored by, well, a man can dream.
You know, a man can dream.
Yeah, really? I didn't think he could dream anymore. There's been a lot of stuff going on in the world. I can't really dream anymore. So sad.
Why dream when you can make it a reality?
Oh, what's the reality, though?
Well, the reality is that the Flames had a torturous week, 5 games in 8 days.
Ooh, that COVID break really stomped them for sure. That's a sure thing. Ooh.
It's going to be a lot of this, though, right? Because they play right to the end of April, and then you have, I think, a week off and then playoffs, per se. Maybe I'm getting too ahead of myself. I mean, let's be real here. I think with the way that the team's playing, I think it's kind of solidified that they're going to clinch eventually, but...
Well, when
You were saying, sorry?
Sorry. I guess when you're getting paid that much money, you have that expectation of playing that much hockey, so fair enough. Anyways, back to what you were saying.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, so I was doing some estimations. We are at 79 points right now on the season as we record this podcast, and you need about 100, so 10 or 11 more wins, and it should be solidified, so.
Yep, that's all we need. Just get us the clinch, and then we'll worry about playoffs.
So I got to ask, there's a little bit of news. A trade, a signing, so trade deadline's kind of already started a little bit. We'll probably see a few more before next Monday. But how do you feel coming with the upcoming trade deadline? Do you think there's gonna be a big splash, or how do you feel about this?
So for if we're talking about just like trade deadline in general, I think this might be one of the biggest trade deadlines we've seen in the last little bit, because obviously we've seen our fair share of crazy trade deadlines. Like, what's a really good example of a trade deadline?
2016 was great. The one with the Hall and the
those two big
Adam Larson trade and stuff.
And then Weber and Subban,
Yeah,
I believe,
yeah.
right? Yeah, those were two crazy ones. But I think this one, just with how many players are looking to be available and how many good teams there are right now, it could go anywhere. I'm really excited for it, though.
Well, the thing, too, is all these guys' values are going to be up, inflated. So it's going to be funny to see, like, who gets a steal, who doesn't get a steal.
Yeah.
One thing I got to say is, so we see that Jacob Chikrin gets injured. He's been on the trade talk for a while. Unfortunately, he gets injured, and I guess he has a lot of injury already at the age of 23, which is very unfortunate. But how I see this is if he does get traded while he's injured, value will be decreased, right?
Yeah.
So whoever gets him, I have a feeling they might get a bit of a steal.
Yeah, because isn't it looking like he will probably come back postseason?
Yeah, well, of course. Oh, I guess if he goes to a team. I guess if he goes to a team with the playoff, like Arizona playoff team.
If he gets traded, I mean. If he gets traded. Arizona, no. Hey, they could come back.
Honestly, Arizona probably won't make a playoffs until they go to Houston. That's what I think,
What do you mean? They're going to Quebec. They're not going to Houston. They're going to Quebec, because we all know we would do a lot better in Quebec.
I don't know. I don't think Bettman wants more Canadian teams. I think he's kind of done with their market.
Well, oh God.
I mean, to be honest, like here's the thing. Canadian games won't even sell out. I mean, they're close to selling out, but they're not 100%. Like, I was looking at the Avs attendance, they hit 100% almost every game. Yeah. Minnesota pretty much hits 100%.
But again, Canada was going through that, obviously, COVID restrictions still, and they are still kind of butthurt on those. And you can't truly fill up a stadium like that, though. Like, the Flames, I'm pretty sure the Flames lately have almost filled it up.
About 90%.
Yeah, pretty close.
The game on against Detroit there, I went, and yeah, I was pretty busy. I was trying to walk around and get down to the bathrooms and stuff. Those lineups were pretty long, so yeah, I'd say it was pretty full.
Yeah, for sure. Are we jumping right into those other news, or are we going right to Flames?
What do you think? What would you want to start with there?
Well, you mentioned to me about the trade deadline, so what about we just mention quickly our first trade that happened today?
Yeah, for sure. Take it away.
No, you take it away. That's why I gave it to you.
Yeah, I guess so, we had one trade here today. The Avalanche acquired Anaheim Ducks defenseman Josh Manson with 50% salary retained for the Ducks, in return for their prospect Drew Hellison and a 2023 second-round draft pick. Now, the first thing I thought with this Avs trade is that they're stacking themselves just a little bit. I think you run 7D now. because before we recorded this, we were looking at their roster lineup, and it looks like they do about 11 forwards right now. So because Landeskog's injured too, so they probably don't really want to call up anyone on the forwards or anything, or any scratches or anyone in the press box. But I also did a little bit of I did the research on their defense pairings, and tell me how good this will be. Devon Taves and Cale Makar, which I honestly think is probably the best defense pairing in the league right now, in my opinion.
It's up there for sure.
Like the Devon Taves is underrated, and wow, what a deal. He's gonna get paid, man. When he gets his next contract, I don't know when his contract ends, but he's gonna get a good deal, especially if he keeps playing like this. He's been a great. Because the thing is with Makar is a superstar talent, and so does he have the Norris locked in? People think so. I'm not going to say anything on that just because I haven't watched enough Cale Makar to know, but I know that he, like, every time he plays the Flames or a team that I watch, and his skating's phenomenal, and he plays a two-way game so well, but he can score too. Like, it's just next coffee, honestly.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said a few episodes ago, not even a few, I think it was last episode, Cale Makar plays a very offensive game, and he plays a great defensive game and knows his edges and everything. It's beautiful to see a guy like that. And you were mentioning about Taves. He's actually kind of locked up for 3 years at $4.1 million.
It's actually not terrible.
He's
definitely
for how he's been playing. For how he's been playing, that's a good contract.
But that is a deal. That's a good deal.
Then you see Cale Makar getting 9 years, or you see Cale Makar getting $9 million for like the next 6 to 7 years. So he's locked up there for sure.
Literally.
Yeah, it's great.
So ahead,
back to where you were going.
Yeah. So besides the first pair there, you also have the second pairing, which right now is Ryan Murray and Eric Johnson. Then the third is Jack Johnson, not the singer, the hockey player, and Curtis McDermott. And then the seventh would be Manson. So what I thought was, okay, you're probably going to start Manson maybe with Johnson. I think Curtis McDermott's your seventh. The reason why I don't think you'd want to like put McDermott away and scratch him and put him in the press box is because McDermott is their muscle. And you really do want, as much as enforcing, the enforcer role is not a thing anymore in the modern day hockey sense, someone who's going to fight there and protect someone like Makar, you're going to want that too, right? Makar does have a feistiness to him, but just because, he's not the biggest guy, McDermott, it's nice to have McDermott who can protect some of those players.
There's actually a few players like this on that team. Like Jack Johnson's one of those players as well that does that. Like, I'm not saying he's the only one, but yeah, there are other players obviously as well. In that sense.
That is true. I mean, even Kadri can defend himself. McKinnon's got feistiness to his game.
Yeah, it's Kadri. He gets suspended like almost every playoffs.
Landeskog's not too bad for that as well. No. But yeah, no, this team's they're just setting themselves up for a playoff run, and that is the one team that scares me the most in the sense of the Flames.
Well, when the Flames are like the second best team in the West right now, and then you have Colorado, you're like, yeah, you're a little bit scared, but you never know what happens in playoffs.
With right now how the standings look, you're not going to have them in the first round.
No. You're going to probably, it looks like...
the second round. You're
either second or... I would even just say third.
I think just third, honestly.
I think Calgary's too good to make it verse them in the second.
Well, I mean, if they verse this team,
it could be a battle of Alberta in the second. I know
it could be. But how I see this is, if we do verse Colorado and that happens in the playoffs, the Flames will most likely deserve that spot, winning 2 rounds, because 1 round is great, but 2 rounds will really solidify and kind of actually prove us fans right that how we feel about this team, and they can actually do something just because of how much we've seen. It's funny that we keep, kind of being, whatever with the Flames, of course, because they lost the last game against Colorado. But, we'll get into
that was a tiring game. Man.
Exactly.
That was a tiring game.
I don't really have anything else much to say about the Avs trade other than, I guess we can also talk about the Ducks side of things. So, you know what? They're still in a retooling phase. They get a prospect, Drew Hellison. He plays for Boston College. Young defenseman there. He was drafted 47th overall by the Avs in the 2019 draft there. 32 games he's played this season. 4 goals, 21 assists for 25 points. So he's racking up a few points and stuff. So
Pretty good
you know what?
prospect.
Pretty much that's not too bad to have, right? You know, well, you have some of your young stars already developing in the pros right now. You have some that are going to be developing, you know, in the minors and in college and all that. And you know what? I think it works for Anaheim because Anaheim just needs to do a retool, and the younger they get, it's just perfect because then it kind of just settles in so that out with the old in the new, right? Because
yeah, exactly. And sorry for interrupting. Do you want me to just jump
no,
right
it's
in?
okay. You
Okay,
say.
I didn't know if you had anything else to say. And if I was the Avalanche in this scenario, yeah, you're basically loading up for playoffs right now. And Manson, he hasn't truly looked like a crazy great player since like 2017, 2018 when I last saw. And he kind of fell off a little bit, but he's still a good third line pairing defenseman, which they apparently needed looking at that line. And you're kind of right also with Anaheim, because I was looking at the standings and there's a few teams in that wild card spot, and I don't think Anaheim's in that contention anymore. So I think they are going the right route with it, and there's tons of talks of other players on that team. Again, we'll get more into that later, but I think Colorado made a really good decision with this trade. But as a Flames fan, I kind of want to shoot myself a little bit in the foot because that kind of hurts.
Well, it's not going to be easy no matter what, really.
No, but again, like I said, it's playoffs. You never know where this team can truly go.
And Manson's deal right now is friendly, $205 million for 1 year. So really, I guess it's a rental. So I guess you would kind of see how he does
it's
it
a playoff
then, see
rental.
if you could sign. I don't know how their cap space is. I should have looked more into that. 9 points only, so you're getting more of a stay-at-home thing. But you know what I mean? It's like...
Actually, I got their cap if you want.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So right now for cap space, all they got is like 296,000. So, and they do have some key pieces they do have to re-sign in the off season. Nothing too crazy though. It's just like because Kemper is a free agent.
Okay, so just 1 year for Kemper. Yep.
And then they also have Kadri, which is coming off a career year for him. And then they also
he'll want a big deal then. Yeah, he'll get a decent
Burakovsky?
paycheck.
Is that how you say it?
Burakovsky, okay.
Yeah, he's a free agent as well. And then there's a few little ones, just kind of like depth players that are not too crazy. But those are the big ones for Colorado. So it is kind of like a big season for them as well.
So they're not in a terrible position just because... I mean, of course, you're really going to want to make a splash this year because it's one of the best teams they've had in a long time.
I don't think they signed Kadri, though. He's probably going to ask for 7.
But they really have locked up their main superstars, and that's really what's important. So of course, maybe you can find some players in their prospect pool, and take go from there. Maybe they can shine. Sometimes that happens, right? You have like young prospect, they play, and they get time to play with these really good superstar players, and it elevates their game to a complete other level.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So I don't think the Avalanche are really in the biggest trouble in that sense. I think they honestly might sign Kemper the way he's been playing this season. I could see it.
I could see them like not signing Kadri and then probably give Kemper that half of probably what he's going to want. So obviously sign that goalie, and they'll probably pick up more pieces in the offseason.
I guess as well, sorry for interrupting, but
go ahead.
We talk about the goaltending and signings, is that their 1B, I guess you could say Pavel Francouz, was signed as well this year, or just recently there.
Wasn't it like yesterday, I believe?
It was yesterday or the day before, but he pretty much got signed. I have the numbers. 2 years for $2.2 million, I think it was. I forgot to put it down on the notes here, but that's what it was. So it's 2 years friendly. Nothing too crazy. In 50 games he's played this in his entire career, he's 31, 12, and 5. Not bad at all. 242 goals against average. Pretty good.
That is pretty good, actually.
And so I don't really think there's too much to complain about that.
I never thought Colorado would do an option 1, option 2 situation there.
Well, if they can, might as well. I mean, I guess
Calgary's in that. And there's a few teams in that situation, actually, that run an option 1, option 2. Anyways, go back to where you were saying.
I don't know. I guess you have to really see how the playoffs go. But of course, you're gonna start with Kemper.
Yeah, for sure.
And then go. But it's nice that they can have kind of a backup plan in case something does happen, right? Some, especially a lot of really good teams don't have that. Pittsburgh, I would say, not too bad. New York's kind of low down a bit just because Shesterkin, of course, is phenomenal. Georgiev just kind of has lost it a bit this season.
He's still a good goaltender
But it's
in
still-
my eyes, but it's just he's kind of getting overlooked as well because of Igor's having almost a Vezina season as well.
Yeah, no, for
So
sure.
overlook would probably make him go down a bit, but other than that, yeah, there's actually quite a few teams that do the option A, option B.
Yeah.
Like Toronto was also one with when they had Campbell and who's the other goalie's name again?
Oh, Mrazek.
Mrazek, there we go. Yeah, they were running that option A, option B situation as well, I think. And then Jack Campbell got injured, and now they're just going with Mrazek. And yeah, it's not looking
Kind
pretty.
of tough.
For
Well,
sure.
it can kind of transition into the Heritage game then, If we're talking about Toronto.
Oh, yeah, I guess we'll just switch over to that then, because I didn't have much more to say about that trade for sure. If anyone is curious, it was happening in Hamilton, the Hammer, and they were versing the Buffalo Sabres, and Toronto lost 5-2. And then something else interesting happened during that game. Austin Matthews gave a really good cross-check to the neck against Dahlin there, and he got suspended 2 games for that.
Yeah, it was deserved. Everyone's
Which one was deserved? The suspension?
Suspension.
Or,
The
okay.
suspension
I was
was
going to say,
deserved.
you think Austin Matthews does?
No,
have every right to
here's
that?
how I see it. The NHL can sometimes be a little too helicopter parent with their superstars. So I was like, they're not going to give him anything, but they gave him 2. So
They gave him.
You know, it's
they
just-
gave Marchand 6 for punching a goalie.
no, yeah,
so-
well, Marchand's a repeat offender, right? So you're good. Well, they can't deserve 6 for a goalie, but repeat offenders are going to get more for sure. That's just how it goes, right?
That is very true.
So with this Heritage Classic game, I don't have really too much to say, just because, besides really you talk about it just because it's a special day, because you're not indoors, you're outdoors, and there's a bunch of fans. I think it was like 28, or I think it was like 30,000 fans were in attendance or something like that. They're freezing their butts off. And
Was it like minus 15 out there?
it was like minus 9, 10. But the thing is,
oh,
it's,
that's not.
well, remember, it's colder in Ontario, right? Because they get that wind, that
yeah,
really
we-
bone-chilling wind, right? Because they're right by the
We get Chinooks.
ocean and stuff. Yeah, we get the Chinook, so we just get migraines. That's all we get.
Yep, pretty much.
Yeah, literally.
I don't have much to say about the Heritage Classic either. It was nice for the Leafs to lose against Buffalo again. That was cool to see.
Buffalo's having a decent week though, just with the wins and stuff. But Anderson gets his 300th win, and they're playing some. I think they're enjoying the season now because they know what they are. They know they're nowhere near special or anything. But there's pieces on this team, which, I think if the right way goes, you draft well, maybe you can start forming a team that can start winning hockey games.
We've said that when Eichel got drafted, and it's
That's
like
true.
it's kind of a repeating situation for Buffalo, and it's always has been.
It's
Same
good-
like Arizona
It's
as well.
good trade bait. Tuck can be trade bait. Tage Thompson can be trade bait.
Oh, I'm not saying you're wrong.
Middlestad's definitely been disappointing, but Middlestad could eventually, come back per se. Maybe he might need a change of scenery, but there's promise there, and I think it's really nice. Buffalo fans deserve it too. They're really hardcore fans, and they've had to endure a lot. So
Yeah, for
unfortunately,
sure.
that's just gonna. So no, sorry, not unfortunately, but good for them to kind of have a bit of a win. For the Toronto fans, yeah,
It's looking concerning.
it's the goaltending. It's the defense and the goaltending.
Did you see that TJ Brody own goal?
Mrazek let in two goals that were just not NHL caliber worthy.
It's looking really concerning.
But
because
I don't think you sign Fleury, for example. I don't think you sign. I don't know what you do, because who else is on the market goaltender wise? I think it's just.
I think they
Fleury.
just kind of. I think they either just play it out and wait until Campbell's healthy, because Campbell's still a really good goaltender in the league, and he's kind of proven it this year. But just he got injured, and they had to go with the backup plan of Mrazek. And Mrazek's, that's hard to say, because when he was with Detroit, he had promise, but then when he got traded to Toronto, and I think there was one more other team before Detroit he got traded to, but when he went with Detroit, he's didn't look that pretty. And,
Oh yes, it was Carolina.
yeah,
I
it
just
was
remember
Carolina, right? Because he looked actually pretty decent in Carolina, if I remember that correctly. And yeah, it's looking kind of. I would be concerned as a Leaf fan, because you got to either versus Florida or Tampa.
They really do get the short end of the stick just because
They really do.
It's but is it what's the word? Not even by chance. It's just how it's set up.
Yeah. But that's sometimes.
The thing with Mrazek, you're right, he was promising.
Yeah.
When he was with Carolina and with Detroit, I remember saying, Edmonton can maybe pick him up. Maybe that would help him and Koskinen. I don't.
He's on Toronto. It doesn't look like it
There's
anymore.
a lot of. He had the injury. So they have the injury bug, and it really affects some teams. Like some teams just get unlucky for the season. They just get a bunch of injuries and it really gets to them. The thing is, it's funny because with Campbell, we talk about how he was having such a great season, and it's crazy how much that can change in 2 months. I think I said this before in a recent podcast that we did like maybe a few weeks ago. But January, he goes to the All-Star game. He's putting up some crazy numbers, and then it's just gone downhill.
Yeah.
And of course, Toronto's going to get most of the talk about it than any other team because of the medium, because of the fan base presence and all that, and the popularity.
Yep.
So I think that might have something to play with it as well, but I think you're right. I think you just have to ride it out.
You have to either ride it out, or if it keeps getting worse and worse, you really need to kind of look what is there to offer at trade deadline. And again, we'll talk about the players that are looking like trade deadline bait, but yeah, it's kind of a waited out situation in my opinion. That's all I got to say about Toronto and the Heritage Classic. Tristan, what do we have next again?
Okay, so before we get into the game, I gotta say, and talks of goaltending transitioning, well, we can talk about Jacob Markstrom again and how much we love him as a goaltender. Second star of the week again. He keeps getting on the star of the week. There's a lot of Flames players that have been on the 3 stars of the week.
Yeah, but I feel like they're not going to give a Vezina. I get a weird feeling the NHL wouldn't. I think they would look at Igor and be like, oh, his stats are better and everything, and it's an American team.
You know what's really funny? They say playoffs don't have a say in the awards and stuff, but
I think they should.
Here's what I think. I really think it kind of does with some. The Hart, not the Hart, sorry, what am I saying? The Vezina, it's because when you watch such good goaltending performance in playoffs because of how high stakes those games are, you kind of get a little biased there, right? You're like, oh my goodness, like, that kind of just proves to me, right? He should have been Vezina caliber. So, I really do think it's him and Shesterkin.
Yeah, for sure. I think that
they're really playing to a T. They're pretty similar, but we were talking about that as well, and I actually do agree with you on that. I think New York is being bailed out more by Igor than the Flames are getting bailed out by Markstrom.
When I said that, I'm not trying to say the Rangers are like relying on Igor the
No,
whole
not
time.
at all.
They still have talented players that are scoring and doing their jobs and winning games, but I think just Calgary takes it to another extent because just watching games and the offensive in their zone and getting shots, and it's like some games you don't see Markstrom getting that many shots compared to like Igor in a game. And that's why probably Igor is getting a lot more attention than probably Markstrom.
Yeah, that is a really great point. But that can be kind of dangerous sometimes too, especially with that Detroit game, for example, where he only got 5 shots in the first 2 periods.
He still got a shutout.
He got the shutout. Exactly. But what I'm trying to say is when you have that much time in between a shot, that's a lot of mentality, right? It can be kind of hard, right?
That is true.
I think there's a lot of mental toughness with Markstrom as well, which is really helping.
Yeah.
And hey, we love him for it.
Yeah.
And it's really, and it's all just seems to just kind of work. I don't even know with this Flames team what you could even say is the cause and effect, because how I almost see it is everything is kind of being put in place because one thing is working, so the other thing's, it's like a cog in a machine. Because the offense is working, the defense has been playing better. Because the goaltender's been working, you know what? There's the rest of the team has been kind of playing off of that, right?
Yeah.
I think it's all just everyone's just playing off of each other, and I think that's what's, and the result we're seeing is because of that.
Should we just jump right in the Flames recap since we've been talking about them now?
Yeah, well, we might as well. And one more thing before that, Oliver Shillington, injury list. So he has a lower body. We don't know how long he'll be out for. So we had Michael Stone come in on the Detroit game. And I probably should have talked about that once we were talking about the Detroit game, because it has really no reason to do with the Tampa Bay game. But
do you remember? I guess you were there. Did you see him like get injured or anything? Because I don't remember seeing him
so
actually.
it would have been at the Tampa Bay game because Michael Stone played
Oh,
in the Detroit game. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that makes more sense. All right. Fair enough.
But yeah, so we can jump right into it. The Tampa Bay game. So we won that game 4-1. Johnny hat-trick. Well,
He got 2 goals off his back.
Could have
That
been
is impressive.
could have been a back trick.
Yeah, that would have been funny. Yeah, so in the first period, Johnny Gaudreau got the first one, and then Johnny got the second one in the second as well, assisted by Kachuk. The first one was assisted by Tyler Toffoli and Anderson. His second one was assisted by Kachuk. And then Michael Backlund finally scoring some points for once. No hate on Backlund. I still love Backlund, just he's kind of hasn't been playing to his potential as he always does. Assisted by Gabrunson and Lewis. And then Gaudreau scoring the final one with his 26th of the season. Assisted by Lidholm and Anderson.
So what was your kind of take on that game?
That was a great game to watch. Because obviously Tampa is still known as like a top 5 team in the league right now. And then Calgary is also kind of an underdog top 5 team in the league. And they just kind of proved that they could play to Tampa Bay standards, because that was a back and forth game. That wasn't like one team was like playing crap. It was both teams playing aggressive. And it was a really competitive game, but Calgary just took advantage, I think. It was a complete Calgary advantage game.
Yeah, I know it was the game was gritty, and it was to the T. It was just I wouldn't even say, I don't know if it was completely playoff as hockey like that Avs game prior to this game.
Yeah, it was close though.
But it was, you know what? You're playing against like the 2-time Stanley Cup champions back to back, right?
It's good to see that you do that though, for sure.
They're scary. They are speedy. They are a fast team. They can out-goaltend, outscore you, and we got some lucky goals there, right? I wouldn't even say it's lucky. It's just that Johnny Hockey is a good player, and he's a smart hockey player.
He's talented.
And that's why you score 2 goals like that, sure. Right? And so those 2 goals really took the breath out of Tampa Bay, and I think it was because just how it was, it's just the momentum really did shift to Calgary there.
Yeah, for sure.
As well with even though Vasilevsky only had an .875 save percentage, 28 saves out of 32, I still think he had a really good game. He made some really good saves. Markstrom had to make some phenomenal saves as well, though. 968 save percentage, 30 shots saved out of 31.
Damn.
And this game, you win this, and I was saying, like, when you win games like this against like some of the best team in the league,
it's a head turner.
It's a head turner.
Because Calgary, I see Calgary getting a lot more respect for games now because they're actually looking like contenders for something.
People are starting to talk about them, and it's because of this game and then the game we won in overtime against the Avs. Because of how playoff-esque it was, and people really enjoyed watching it. So many people I saw in the comment section, like the hockey guy also said it as well, this is the best game of the night, playoff hockey.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And I actually read like a few days ago, and they said the chances for Calgary finally got over Toronto because now Calgary is looking like the best Canadian team to actually win a cup, and they have the best odds right now.
It's just
a Canadian.
It's just that we're more consistent right now.
Yeah, for sure.
Winning more games, the confidence is really there. We're riding off of wins on wins, and it's really good. In adversity, it hasn't been hasn't been that much of a setback this year, which is great. If that means that adversity isn't going to completely affect us, I'm definitely more positive come playoff time because adversity is going to be there a lot.
Yeah, for
whether
sure.
through injuries or when you're not even playing at home. I also want to say this too. I really think playing at home is helping because the fans have been really passionate about it.
Yeah.
And I think it's really helping. I think they really enjoy having a full building again.
Should we just jump right into the game that you went to then?
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
But it sucks that you couldn't have gone, man. That was...
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. I had
man.
my other things to do. And if anyone is curious, we're talking about the Flames versus Red Wings game, the one Tristan went to. The Flames came out 3-0 with Elias Lidholm scoring his 30th of the season. So, yay, he's got 30. Assisted by Anderson and Kachuk in his 40th of the assist. And nothing happened in the second. In the third period, we had Tyler Toffoli scoring his 17th of the season, assisted by Kachuk and Gaudreau. And finishing it off, we got Blake Coleman, assisted by Tanev and Mark Stone's first assist.
I know, man. I'm so happy for Stone.
I'm not gonna lie. I watched all of this game. The first period didn't look like much. It felt too slow for me. The second was worse, and then the third we just came out and won. And I'm like,
Man,
that wasn't a good game. It wasn't a bad game. Just it was a game. And Markstrom got his 9th shutout of the season.
exactly.
I can't complain.
Well, that is the biggest. The two biggest W's are the Lindholm, 30 goals, and Markstrom shutout.
Yeah,
which means one more he ties Kipper's record, and then two more, and then one more after that. So 2 more he beats it. I think it's possible.
I think he beats it. Like with how you look at the games up ahead and just how much Markstrom has been playing, because hell, it looks like he could play like 70 games this season. Because
he can ride out pretty much a full season.
Yeah, it's insane. Like I don't like seeing that, especially when we get close to the playoff time. But I love to see it just because, like, when you look at a goalie that does that in a regular season, he's a Vezina winner, and you love to see it because Kippy won a Vezina because he did that. It was amazing.
100%. And that was when he wasn't even considered, because he was still a young goalie at that time, right?
I think that was literally the year he got traded, and then brought us to a cup.
If I'm correct, that was his first full season in the big show.
Yeah, for sure.
That's some Jordan Binnington stuff there, right?
That's insane to think of.
Awesome. So one thing I was going to say about the shutouts is Daryl Sutter says this a lot with the shutouts and talks about that it's a team effort and that's how they win. Markstrom also agrees with that when he's asked, and I would agree with it as well. It definitely is a team effort. This game really was, of course, Flames dominant because what we saw, it was literally the shots at the first period was 19-1. The Red Wings had one shot.
And I saw so many memes about that.
After the second period, the Red Wings only had 5 shots. So in total, Markstrom only had to stop 19, while Thomas Greiss had to face 43 shots, right? So that's a big thing. And now, it was a team effort. The one thing I gotta say, though, is the third period, they let Detroit play in the end a little bit too much. So my concern with that is, you're dominating a game, you're winning, but eventually, no matter what, you have to always play a full 60. Doesn't matter how many goals you're winning by. I think you always have to play a full 60. And, of course, there wasn't too much danger with that, but there were times where I'm like, it's only 1-0.
I know.
I'm like, they could just literally get a random lucky bounce and get some good puck luck, and boom, game's tied, different game, right?
I know. That's why I was so scared watching this. I'm like, can we, like I'm seeing it right here.
Yeah.
The game ended 43 shots to 19, and it was still only 1-0 after the second. And I was like, dude, this is like getting kind of concerning because once we go into the third and it's only 1-0, we slow down, and that's what scares me.
It really was a sigh of relief seeing Toffoli's goal.
Oh my god!
But so that was really nice.
Blake Coleman's was funny though when he just went. He got pushed right into the net.
He scored himself.
Yeah, he literally scored himself, and then he's like, "Hey, a puck's in here with me."
Exactly. So
that was
great. That was so much fun to cheer that one for.
Yeah, for sure.
One thing I was also gonna say too. So you have Oliver. I was gonna also shout out Rasmus Anderson as well, because Shillington has the injury with the lower body. We don't know how long he's out for. And Shillington now is, probably going to play he played even more minutes. And I think
he's probably one of our best defensemen.
He's
up there.
He's like Tanev. He's just quiet, but he does his job, and he just does his job, and he just shuts down. And that's all you have to do. And that's why I love Rasmus Anderson on this team. I think he's becoming a solid piece.
Well, for points on defensemen on this team, he does lead our defense in points right now.
That is an added bonus as well, which is really great to see.
He's so young still. That makes me even more happy that he's so young and he's showing that potential and development right now. I love it.
In replacement for Shillington was Michael Stone. He comes in, and I love seeing when he gets a chance because, you know what, he works hard, and they always say that. So it's nice to see him get it. It's nice to see him get into a lineup, and I didn't think he played a terrible game.
He's been with this team for so long.
I know, it's weird how long he's been with this team.
Almost 4 years of this guy, because he would be with the Flames, get traded, or go somewhere else, come back, and then just sit on the bench and just ride it out.
Do you want to know something that's crazy about Michael Stone? Okay.
What's that?
So when my first Hitman games I watched, he was on the Hitman.
Oh,
on that
right.
team.
That's how I also
I'm pretty
still
sure
remember
he was
this
also
guy.
on the team. I'm pretty sure he was also on. If I'm correct, he was also on Team Canada. when the World Juniors were in Calgary. And I remember being at that. It was a preseason game, and it was Canada versus Finland. I remember that. So I've seen him play a lot. It's funny. It's like wherever I follow.
Literally.
So I see him everywhere. But it's always nice seeing him, and I think he'll get a few more shots before Shillington is. I don't think Mackey will get us. Mackey probably won't, in my opinion, probably won't play till later in the month, or not later in the month, later down the road, probably like April or the end of the season.
I could see him playing like the last few games when we're allowed to actually bring up players if we rest ours and get that clinch, obviously. But like, I don't see him fully getting a role until next year.
I'm actually excited,
which is really sad to see because I really wanted to see him play more.
That's why I'm actually kind of excited to see those games when we clinch and everything, and they start playing youngs. I want to see how the young guns do.
Well,
because they've been blowing out teams in Stockton, right? Like Pelche and Matthew Phillips.
They better not trade them. You sent me that you sent me that interest. You want to quickly just explain that?
So trade talk. There was some rumor that was going around that I guess Pelche might be dealt in something, and it's why?
No, don't do that. He's like one of our high scorers on the AHL. No,
this is how I'm starting to see it too. You have a lot of forward depth in this and in the aspect of prospect pooling. So say you lose some forwards because of your cap problems next year, at least you have someone to kind of back you up a little bit, and they're homegrown in the sense like that. So I see that as a good backup, like a plan B or C situation. You know what I mean? I wouldn't say it's a plan B. I say more of a plan C situation, but it's not a terrible plan C.
No, it's not. And he's still really young and developing really well in the AHL, as we've seen with his stats and everything as well. He's probably for the Stockton Heat, I think he's like either second or first in points for the team, and I don't want to lose that. That's like very valuable to us because like who knows if Gaudreau leaves and we kind of need that next guy coming up, he could be that next guy. And I don't want him going because we already gave up a prospect. I believe the prospect we gave was a right winger when we traded for Tyler Toffoli, but you got Tyler Toffoli.
Yeah, it was the player that we got from Florida. Let me find who it was.
Yeah, but anyways, I don't think that would be a good idea to get rid of Jacob Petier for sure. So, Tristan, do you want to just quickly jump over to the Flames game if you can't find that?
No, I can't find it.
The Avalanche game?
I was gonna say one more thing about the Detroit game. It's pretty funny. So we got there, so we're in the press levels. And so what happened was, asked the guy, "Oh, where is PL?" I think we were in 5. So he goes this way. So we had to walk the other side of the rink, eh?
Yep.
Go up. It's PL 15. It was in the 10s, not the 1 to 5, not the 1 to 9. So we had to go to the other side again. But this time, the game's starting. Like the intro.
Yeah.
Your Calgary Flames, and they go out and stuff. So we wait, listen for that and the anthem, and then we go down, and we keep walking, and it's just a struggle. And then what happens is our seats are taken. Here's the thing: they were taken by a young family, and so it's like when you see a family with kids, you're like, you don't want to do that to them, you know what I mean? So what we did, we found some empty seats, sat in there, and then we went down intermission, quickly got more of like our food and beverages and stuff, and then we tried to find some of our other friends there who were at the game, and we couldn't find anything there, and luckily we went a little bit over and found some decent second bowl seats, so we got to watch the rest of the second and the third for that. That was pretty good, but it was pretty funny. Like it was a leg workout. Yeah, you know how it is, right, man? If you guys have ever been to the Saddle Dome, you know how much of a leg workout it is trying to get up those stairs. It's great, but
don't do leg day before going to.
Don't exactly.
You will hate your life if you're in the nosebleeds. That's for sure.
Poor Ethan, man. He did legs that day, and he was.
Did he?
Yeah, but I sucked, man. I was like, you know what? No pain, no gain, right? Exactly.
Yeah, that's did legs today. That was not fun for sure.
Yeah, shout out to Ethan for that, man. That was awesome.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, Tristan, you got any last words on the Detroit game? I don't have much more.
No, nothing else. I mean, quieter game. One was fun to watch in person and stuff. And the thing is the whole thing I was thinking about is, okay, great win, more in the points, and thinking, okay, how are you gonna go against Colorado? The next game we have. Here's the thing with this Colorado game. They play this game on the Saturday. Yeah, the Saturday. It was Saturday at 5 o'clock. Then 6 o'clock with a time change. An hour goes ahead, right? So you lose an hour of sleep. They have to play Colorado.
Ugh.
So what do you think about that game? I think we agree on the same sentiment.
Okay, so when I heard that we played Saturday and then we played Sunday against Colorado, I was like, these guys are going to be exhausted, especially with the time change as well. And I'm watching the game, and I gotta give them credit. They didn't play as bad as I thought they would. They did look a little sloppy probably because they were still exhausted from the last few games. And Colorado, I think they had a few days off and they were basically 100%. And yeah, we got kind of lit up and kind of killed because the game ended 3-0 for the Avalanche with Nathan McKinnon scoring 2 goals and then Rantanen scoring the last empty net. I wouldn't call it a bad game, but it's just we were exhausted, and I'm not trying to make the excuse for anything. A loss is still a loss, but you could tell they weren't 100% that game, and I'm okay with it because our backup actually played a really good game. Like, even I know it's still 3-0, but he still played an impressive game overall. Like, if I quickly just search it up his stats, he saved 29 out of 31 shots with a 9.35 save percentage. So it's not. He still played a really good game. Just when your team is completely exhausted, you can't. There's not a whole lot you could do in that situation. What did you think?
Yeah, and I agree with you on this. Goalies to me were the topic of this conversation, or for the game. So I feel bad for Vladar because you know what? Like, it's not like he's playing with the polished team that's rested, ready to go. Like, the game was just a bit, just definitely sloppy. There's a few Zadorov giveaways. There's a few giveaways from just from other bad stuff that led to like turnovers, penalties too. That's the thing. When you get tired, right? You usually result in a penalty because if you're tired, right? You're exhausted.
I feel like Zadorov got most of those penalties. Why do I feel like I'm pretty sure he did?
But you know what I mean, right? Where it's like you're tired. Some forward, like, so you know how fast that team is. They blow out, and you have to kind of trip them, right, to take them off, and there comes a penalty, right? So you got to say the same. What's the same? I can't even think of the word.
Can't even think of the word.
But you know what I mean. The same problems always seem to happen when we lose a game, and it's the penalties and the turnovers, and we saw that a lot this game.
Yeah.
Was it probably from sloppiness, from being tired? I think a lot of it does. The forwards definitely weren't as prominent. I didn't see a lot of really nifty goals. Kemper had to save some great saves. I gotta say, shout out to Darcy Kemper. That was a great shout out. He had to save 46 darn shots. We outshot this team, and we didn't score.
That's exactly why I think
That's
it was
crazy.
still a good game. We still played a decent game for being how exhausted we were. Just when Kemper actually decides to play like that, there's not a whole lot you can do, and still you have 100% healthy Colorado team right behind him. So.
With the Nathan McKinnon who scores 2.
Yep, and Rantanen getting the empty net. So there's not a whole lot you could do in that situation. I'll take that L. I can safely and surely. Okay, I'm fine with that because we beat them last time, and that was when we were 100%. So
a lot of these losses kind of ground this team in the sense that we really do get to see, and it proves the point of what is the problem with this team, and again, the concerns, because there's always going to be
turnovers, penalties.
And I guess that's why Daryl Sutter is a great coach, because he's always going to push someone better, because you can always be better. There's always things to work on, and definitely
for sure
that's going to be a thing. Now the thing is probably, I think it might even be good that you play games like this where you're going to be absolutely exhausted and you have to play your heart out, because
that's playoffs.
Playoffs hockey is going to be a one day on, one day off, one day on. It's going to be a grind.
Well, I think Calgary is going to actually just realize that during this March and April span of games, because dude, it's going to be hell playing all that, and then you have playoffs right behind. So I have a lot of confidence in Calgary right now for sure.
These teams are
because I think they could deal with it.
100%.
They're dealing with it right now. I think they can handle it.
These teams are definitely getting ready.
Yeah, for sure. It's gonna be so much fun.
I'm excited. You know what I'm gonna do is I always watch the Canadian teams usually during playoffs. Of course, it's just how it is. But I think I'm gonna definitely watch the Avs, because this team just intrigues me.
Depends who they verse. I think
I really,
the matchups could be anywhere right
now. I
now.
really do ride the Avalanche the most out of every team besides Calgary. Avs and the Panthers.
Florida
those two for sure.
Definitely up there for you.
It's just, I love the way they play. It amazes me.
For sure.
And their fans are so passionate and they're loud, man. It's like they remind me of like just a Canadian fan base. Like I could honestly like if I was closing my eyes and I was hearing the game, I didn't know where they were because if I didn't like hear the goal horn or anything, I'd be like, that's probably a Canadian market.
Yeah,
because they sound like. They sound like Flames fans, Oilers fans, Canucks fans. Habs fans are crazy, man.
Leafs fans.
The Bell Center can get rocking
Yeah.
when they're doing great.
True, I admit.
Leafs fans can get loud too. It's just none of the
Leafs
no
fans
one
can
afford
get
them.
loud. No one really likes them anyway.
Sens fans can get loud too. Actually, Jets fans.
Holy!
Why do I
for
s-
only 15,000 in that small arena. Well, actually, the Arizona's arena is much smaller now, so they're not the smallest arena anymore. But dude, they can get loud in that, and I love it.
Winnipeg playoff hockey. The whiteout is just phenomenal. It's so nice.
It
to
sucks
see.
we can't see that this year for sure.
Yeah, unfortunately, most likely not. But hey, you never know.
You never know.
You never know.
So Tristan, that is all the hockey games that we had. I just quickly want to get your opinion. Oh, were you going to say
We
something?
should probably do not a recap. Sorry, preview of the game against the Devils.
That's exactly what I was going to do.
Oh, perfect. So I thought you were gonna go into trade deadline before.
No. I was going to go in a prediction about the next game. So
For
we
sure.
versed on Wednesday. We versed the New Jersey Devils, who are 22, 32, and 5 right now. So they haven't been so hot this season, and I think they're still in that rebuild phase. And the last time we versed this team was October 26, 2021. Wow, it's been a hot minute. So Tristan, I think Calgary's going to come out pissed because they obviously got shot out, almost putting up 50 shots against Colorado and still got shot out. I think you come in pissed, 100% ready to play, and tear it up.
You come back home, so that's nice. You get it well. You're well rested. Marchand will probably play again. I almost kind of want Vladar to play just because I want him to gain some confidence. I think he deserves that. But the job's not finished. It's not like you're clinched, so you're gonna keep playing until you get that. One thing I gotta say about this game though is I don't think Jack Hughes was playing. I think he was injured when we played them in New Jersey.
No.
So it's going to be a bit of a different game. They have speed. They have speed up front. And so that can really get to you. So, I think the Flames just got to do the simple things and then the normal stuff they always do in every game. If you can score first and get a good start to the game and just grind out and just play really good hockey in the offensive zone and take out neutral zone turnovers and take out penalties, I think you win. I think the game's in the bag.
Yeah, for sure. Do you remember John Gillies? He was a
Yes, I
prospect
do remember Mr.
He's our
John Gillies.
backup for New Jersey.
That's something, eh?
Yeah.
Him and Blackwood?
Yep, Blackwood.
Mackenzie Blackwood is an underrated goalie. I should also mention that, yes.
This year,
New Jersey
he hasn't,
can play some really good have some really good goaltending up front in the net as well.
maybe not this season because Blackwood is 9-9-3 with a 3.29 goals against average and a 8.94 save percentage. And John Gillies isn't any better, that's for sure. But yeah, I think
Who played? Oh, I think it was Scott Wedgwood.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
he got traded, yeah,
Yeah.
back to Arizona.
Yeah, but Tristan, I think that's all I have for Flames recap. Again, no complaints, just turnovers and penalties. Limit them.
If it happens again this game, I will definitely talk. Because, say we lose this game and it's because of those things, there's a bit of okay, these are some concerns.
Yeah, for sure,
You know what?
especially against New Jersey.
Playoff time, penalties aren't always called, but they're going to call blatant calls, blatant hooks, and blatant trips, and blatant high sticks, you know what
It's
I mean?
kind of convenient right now that we're versing New Jersey next because when I went to the bar on Saturday instead of going to the Flames game, sadly, and there was where I was sitting, there was this guy wearing a New Jersey jersey. A New Jersey Devils jersey, and he was watching the game on his phone because the bar wasn't putting it on the TVs at all because it was Flames game on most of them, Montreal, and there was another game, but it was not his. So he was sitting there on his phone watching it, and he's cheering on, and I'm like,
I respect that.
I've never
respect
seen one
that.
before. That's the funny part. I've never
You know
seen
what's
a true
one
Devils
thing
jersey.
I really
fan.
like about the hockey community is there are fans from the same place, but they're all fans of different teams for different reasons too.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Pens fans because we grew up with Crosby. Same with the Caps because of Ovechkin.
Leafs.
I have one friend that she's a Lightning fan, but that's
Really?
Yeah, well, I think if you remember what she told me was that she like her family like vacations in Florida, so I think she kind of like
okay,
gains from
that's
that.
fair.
But it's like stuff like that, right? Blackhawks as well because of their cup runs, but you see a little different stuff. A lot of it too can be because their parents were fans of them.
That's
Like I
very
see a lot
true.
of Bruins fans because their parents were Bruins fans or Philly fans. Like when the Flyers came to town this season, I was like, when I was looking in the stands watching the game, and I'm like, there's a lot of Flyers fans, right?
Yeah, for sure.
It's because of that. And there's a lot of Vegas fans, a lot of really young kids, like 10-year-olds or whatever, right? And they're unfortunately, the Fleury was their biggest fan, so they don't really have anyone to cheer for too much anymore. They got Eichel, but
Yeah.
it's really cool to kind of see the diversity
Petrangelo
in that as well. But of course, where we live, it's mainly just Flames fans and Oilers fans, and
Vancouver, and you
yeah,
get those
few
little weird
Canucks and
ones for
stuff.
sure.
Well, a lot of Leafs fans too, though. Why? Same thing. The parents and a lot of the Ontarians come to Alberta. So
Exactly. So I think we're going to make the quick change from Flames recap to some more trade deadline talk. And I just quickly, before we obviously let you guys go here, we're going to mention a few players that look like potential bait for the NHL trade deadline. And it should be interesting, and that's why I said this free agency could go anywhere and be very exciting because of the names on this list. So for forwards, I'm going to name you just a few that kind of really caught my
it's gonna
eye.
be so hard for me to even know where they go.
And I just want to do you actually think they get traded at all? Where would you actually think they go that needs a team a team that actually needs a player like that?
Yeah,
that's
for
why I'm
sure.
going to kind of go off with you. So the first one on this list from Vancouver Canucks is Brock Besser.
He ain't getting traded.
So he has 34 points in 54 games this season, and I don't see it. I see them trading JT Miller more than Brock Besser for sure.
There's talks probably because of cap. It must be because of cap reasons.
Yeah, probably.
I think you try and keep Besser. Besser's younger than Miller. Miller really is kind of becoming their captain right now.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, Besser is younger, and I almost feel like you kind of want to ride on that instead.
I much rather right now.
But JT Miller is so. Can you imagine him on a team? Like, say the Rangers get him again. Dude, I would actually cry because the Rangers will probably be like. They will literally be. It'll be like them, Florida. Oh, dude,
Tampa.
They're already up there.
The whole East is just looking like a complete cup.
He's probably won the cup this year, in my opinion. Honestly, now that I think about it.
Another name I saw that kind of caught my eye is Jake DeBruskin from Boston Bruins.
Yeah, I was hearing about he had trade bait at the start of the season. I think he kind of wants to change his scenery. If I'm correct, I saw. Don't quote me on this, but I think it was the Wild. The Wild do need some depth on the forward.
Well, you were talking about a while ago that they really would look for some more depth because
they do need depth.
If Kaprizov would really be helpful for them.
Kaprizov needs someone to play with, man. I mean, I'm not saying Matt Zuccarello isn't that, but the fact that it's him and Hartman, I think Hartman's a second liner, third liner, and I think you really need to solidify a good left winger.
Actually, that makes me curious because quickly, just before we continue, I'm actually going to quickly check if Minnesota has their first. And they do. They have their first, a second, a third, and fourth. So they actually could.
I love Cap Friendly so much.
Yeah, it's so useful. You could
shout out to Cap Friendly.
Yeah,
you guys are
so
amazing.
useful. Thank you guys. You guys are G's for sure. But anyways, I could see DeBrus leaving. I could see him just staying because Boston's still a contender, and obviously having a depth forward like that would still be useful, especially in playoffs. Another player there's a few forwards
DeBrus wouldn't fill like a first line role, but
second, third.
It would. There you go, exactly for depth, exactly.
Yeah. Another one I saw on here is Max Domi from the Columbus Blue Jackets. I could see that.
He's getting traded a lot. Hey, that's no, it's not completely Alex Galchenyuk-esque because Domi can actually put up points, but
yeah, he has 31 points in 50 games, so he
not
can't
terrible.
But if you look at the Blue Jackets this year, they're not really a good but a bad team either.
They're very break even 500.
Yeah.
Like if they were a small business, they're breaking even completely.
Yeah, literally. But I can't really think at the top of my head teams that this player Max Domi could go for. Most of the forwards, it's hard to even think of.
I think I heard. Okay, in my top of my head. Okay, would Pittsburgh have the space? Pittsburgh man would love, because I heard that John Marino might leave.
Really?
Yeah, and he was linked to Vancouver, funny enough. I remember
So
seeing that.
they don't have any cap space, but however, they still have their first and their second this year.
What is John Marino's cap space?
John, what?
John Marino.
Uh,
If you can.
John Marino. He is on Pittsburgh, right?
Yeah.
Holy moly. 4.4 million for a lot of years. Like 6 to 7.
That probably isn't enough to bring in Domi for say. Probably worse for well, if Vancouver takes a long term than that, then maybe you do really think about Besser and there's a lot to it, eh? Like
There's a lot.
long term deals, short term deals. There's gonna be a lot of rentals.
Yeah.
And teams that are gonna use rentals are probably teams that really think they need to make a splash now.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't know about Domi, to be honest. But will he get traded? I think he could. Columbus would probably like to have a bit more cap space, room to play with, find some, go other options, other routes to kind of solidify the team.
All right. Yeah, I could totally see that. I don't see him. Honestly, I don't see him leaving. But at the same time, it's so hard to see if he actually does or not. But this player, okay, the next player I have here, actually I could see leaving. Ryan Getzlaf by the Anaheim Ducks. I could see him exiting.
I remember him saying he wants to stay a Duck till retirement.
Well,
I wonder who would like that veteran. Excuse me, who would like that vet? Okay, he might be going for a cup though.
Exactly, but he's already technically run. He's won one, right?
Yeah, no 7.
Yeah, no 7. I could see him leaving, but if he says he's going to stay a Duck forever, I could see him staying a Duck forever. And you can even make that assumption with Claude Giroux from Philadelphia, which is also a name I just wanted to bring out as well. I'm just going to keep going.
I think he also wanted the cup, so maybe I think he was linked to Avs. Oh, kill me. And,
no. I don't think he's going Avs anymore since they got Manson.
I can't remember. It's off the top of my
Vegas
head right
again.
now. No,
Vegas again.
They're gonna have to do some. I wonder if they're gonna do some deals because of the kind of lackluster past month they've had.
Yeah, literally. Another name on here that's kind of shocking to see: Thomas Hertl from the San Jose Sharks.
Thomas Hertl was definitely on the trade bait. I know the Flames. We were really looking into him, but now that we have Toffoli, I don't think you really need to change anything. So,
I don't see the Flames doing anything.
Hertl would be great, man. That's a goal scorer. He would really help a team. Can you imagine if, first say Winnipeg hypothetically got him?
Yeah.
You have Kyle Connor. And dude, Merck's 30 goals like it's like he does it for breakfast, right? Like he's one of the most underrated goal scorers in the league. I mean,
it's nuts.
Hertl could go. Domi leaves. Maybe not with the trade, but you get Tomas Hertl to the trade or something. Okay. Right to Columbus.
That's true.
I don't know, but it's kind of off the top of my head. Nothing too crazy, but I think he'll be traded. Him and I think Tomas.
Tatar.
No, Thomas Meyer.
Wonder where that guy is nowadays.
Tatar, isn't he with the?
No, the guy that said it and made that
meme.
Yeah, that's where I'm curious. I know where Thomas Tatar is. He's with the Wild right now, I think. Or no, he's with New Jersey. Yeah, he's with New Jersey. My bad. Okay, so there's 4 more players on here for the forwards I quickly just want to mention to you. So we have Patrick Kane on this list, Phil Kessel, JT Miller, and Paul Stastny.
I see Kessel out of all of those, the one only getting traded. I don't see Kane. I don't know. Maybe. I think he's gonna be a Blackhawk for life. I don't know, but he's probably might want to chase a cup as well.
I could see Phil Kessel for sure. I could also see Paul Stastny because he always gets moved during the trade deadline as a big playoff piece. And it's kind of weird. Don't you notice that?
Yeah, Stastny's always used as a rental, but it just doesn't seem to work out. And that's the thing is that's why Stastny is one of those examples that everyone uses when they're like, oh, maybe don't go for a rental.
Don't go for a big piece. Go for the depth piece.
I don't know what teams really need rentals. Off the top of my head, I don't think Carolina really cares. I don't think Florida or Tampa cares. I don't think. The way Tampa's lost a few more. They win against Vancouver. So maybe if they lose a few more games before deadline, say if they lose the games this week, maybe they do go for a rental, right? Maybe they think they really need someone. I wonder if they miss a player like Coleman. I wonder if they miss kind of gritty, good depth pieces that are really there for what's the word? I don't even know what the word is, but I mean Coleman's.
Yeah,
really,
I get what you're trying to go
I'm
with
just kinda
for
like,
sure.
Yeah, a grinder, I guess. A grinder, yeah.
Because
I guess a grinder.
because from the last year's Stanley Cup win, they don't have that third line anymore because they couldn't because of their cap space situation.
Was that Coleman? Was Yanni Gordon that as well?
Yep, and then when
Johnson. Tyler Johnson.
Yeah, because he went to the Kraken, I believe, right? If I'm correct. Yeah. Anyways,
didn't he go to Chicago?
Oh my God, this
is like all off the top of our heads.
This is all off the top of our heads. We're just kind of going with it.
I will quickly get Tyler Johnson, right wing for the Blackhawks. Yeah. Ryan Carpenter was also a player that was being looked into. That would be a terrible depth piece as well. I don't know where he goes specifically, but I thought he always, because he's a Blackhawk right now, but Carpenter always had a decent solid piece with the Knights. And I always thought, like, that's the thing with the Knights, because trying to get a player like Eichel and paying all this money for, like, Pacioretty, Stone, and Eichel, it's like you're losing all these depth players, and that's why they're not doing as good now, right? So
yeah, and plus you don't have a true good, like, I'm not trying to say Leonard isn't a good starter. He is to an extent, but he just wasn't what he used to be for sure. And I'm actually going to just rapid fire the next few for defensemen and goaltenders. So we're kind of running.
So we'll just say yes or no?
Yeah. Okay. So for defense, I have Ben Shalott from Montreal Canadiens.
Yes, he'll be traded.
I got John Klimber from Dallas Stars. I could see it. I could see someone going risky with it.
That's a lot of someone's
That's
gonna
lot,
pay the
but
money.
I feel like someone will.
We're gonna make fun of him for it. Yeah,
I could see him being like, "Why are you dropping that much?" Mark Giordano.
Yeah, I could see it. He will be a rental piece. Maybe he wins a cup. I'd love to see that for him.
That would be insane.
Before you say anything, I know we're gonna try and rapid fire, but Ben Sherratt, that one it really intrigues me because I really think he could be a solid. Like if a team gets Sherratt, I think he could up the defensive depth.
I've heard like a lot of talks about Toronto, Tampa, and Florida about Ben Sherratt.
Well, even Calgary. Calgary's still in the run, even though they have Toffoli. But I think you stay away because I think it's just risk too much with Cap coming off of the season too. I think it complicates things more.
If there was like anyone you would probably give up, would probably be I could see Zadar. Because he's got $3 million in his contract for the 1 year, and if you're switching out defensemen, I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah,
for sure. But like Mark Giordano, there's been tons of talks for the last few weeks about him going to Florida. PK Subban is still on this list. What?
I think he'll be traded. I don't know where. I don't know what's.
Unfortunately, he's.
Oh boy,
he has scored 18 points, 3 goals, and 15 assists in the last 56 games.
I mean, I think New Jersey
does still play.
New Jersey will try and ship him off. I just don't know where. I just don't. Unfortunately, he's not what he used to be. So I don't know where you put him.
Then we also have for goalies, we have Craig Anderson from Buffalo Bills. Or
Bills.
Sabres. Whew, long podcast.
Josh Allen's my favorite center.
Oh, for sure. He's better than Eichel ever was. It's tough. Okay. We have Fleury from the Chicago Blackhawks. We've been talking about constantly.
I don't even think he gets traded, to be honest.
I think he does.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't think Chicago's for him. I really don't. He obviously signed still, but still, man.
It depends. We'll see. That's why trades center so exciting.
Who is the Rangers' backup again?
Georgiev.
Yeah, he's on this list.
Okay, so yeah.
I don't see that.
You know what? With the way the season's going, with Shesterkin, they know they're 1A. They know they're solid starter. So yeah. So maybe I don't know. What do you have? Could you pull up his cap and quickly see?
His cap?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Actually,
would Edmonton be a good fit? Like
he would be a lot better than Smith.
End of the day, Koskinen has the same numbers as Fleury does right now. This season, Koskinen has the same numbers. Funny enough, it's pretty much the same. Yeah. Huh. Someone was making that point today on Instagram, and I was like, oh.
He makes $2.5 million for 1 year.
Okay.
Actually, I could see that being gone though. That makes
Really,
actually a
just,
little
we'll
bit.
see.
Then the last two goaltenders I have is Korpisalo from the Columbus Blue Jackets, and then
Varlamov.
Yeah, from
So
New York.
all these goalies are pretty much going to be 1A, 1B scenarios in whatever team they go. Hence why I think the Leafs or the Oilers will probably look into one of these goaltenders because of that scenario. I don't know how you're going to trade Mrazek, though, if you're going to need it for the Leafs sense.
Yeah, well...
And the Oilers, I don't know I don't think you're going to be able to trade Smith, but you're going to want to, but they're probably just going to wait till
if they
the end
had
of
their
the season.
first round picks to it, they would probably take it. That's
True.
the thing, because I think Toronto and Edmonton and all these teams still have their first round picks. The difference is Calgary doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a big factor because you look at Florida and all those top teams, they still have their first. Even Colorado technically hasn't gotten rid of their first round pick, but they might even keep it because they don't have cap space.
It'll probably go first if they do get Drew.
Yeah.
We'll have to see with that one.
For sure. And Tristan, I think that's time to wrap her up, you think?
Perfect.
I think we just got everything. And I guess I'll hand it off to you first.
Well, that was a pretty long one. Hey, we had a lot to talk about.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, man.
We haven't done hockey in since
Last week?
Almost?
Yeah,
Pretty
it's been a minute,
close.
but yeah, it's good though. We'll have more football though after Troll. If you guys have saw a trade deadline or free agency for NFL.
Holy moly.
Wow.
We will
Wow.
eventually get into that. There's a lot we have to talk about there, but I'm waiting 3 to 4 days.
A lot of oversigns though, which is pretty funny. I always love seeing those, right? Because everyone just it blows up Twitter and Instagram, and everyone's like, oh.
Yeah, and our last
it's a
video
crazy
is
thing.
outdated already.
Yeah, literally.
And that was our first visual, which is cool.
That's
Sadly,
pretty fun.
this one isn't, but
Yeah.
we'll hopefully get back on
We'll keep
that.
figuring that. But for sure. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for listening. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, evening, night, wherever or whatever time you're listening to this podcast. Remember, you can always check us out on YouTube, Spotify, as well. We have an Instagram. Follow us at Puck and Stuff. And we also have our stuff recorded on Buzzsprout if you use Buzzsprout by chance, so you can check us out on there. But hey, thank you guys so much for listening, and thank you for all the support. Drop a like and leave a comment if you have any questions or if you like this video. And hey, I'll let you end it there, good sir.
Oh, thank you very much, Tristan. And Tristan basically just took everything. We love the support you're giving. Hey, we might actually be doing a Batman review. If you guys are still interested in that at all, please leave a like and subscribe, as that will tell us you guys are interested, or straight up just tell us in the comments. Thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you on the flip side. Peace.
Peace.